The federal government says it has taken decisive actions to address critical challenges confronting Nigeria's power sector with a gradual migration from the electricity subsidy regime. The government further disclosed that a total amount of about 1.4 trillion naira subsidy burden has been taken off government from the 15% increase in tariff to stop subsidizing Band A customers, which will be redirected to develop other sectors of the economy. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu made these clarifications at a ministerial briefing in Abuja to spotlight the activities of government. This press conference, organized by the Ministry of Information and National Orientation, spotlights Nigeria's power sector, its challenges and activities of government so far to strengthen the sector and create a more investor-friendly environment.
It requires money for us to enhance these segments. It requires money to replace deteriorating equipment and gadgets, to reconductor, to erect new towers, and to even establish new plants, to repair the pipelines, to install boosters and compressors for adequate pressure. The monies are not coming because of lack of liquidity. Investors are not coming because they could not see a line of sight of recovery of their investments. So decentralization is a major issue and we are achieving it. The consumer protection issue, we have said it that service level agreement is a covenant. If we say we are giving you 20 hours for paying 225 naira per kilowatt hour, that 20 hours must not be less than 20 hours. If it is less than 20 hours, there must be sanctions. There must be consequence management. So the first phase that we are going through is a pilot phase and is a proof of concept to drive the disclosed investment in infrastructure. Once they know they are making money from this Band A tariff increase, they will be fast to improve infrastructure in other bands and migrate them to Band A, and they will make more money and the industry will be sustained. It's also to drive or accelerate migration of customers to premium bands within a very short period. It's an incentive for them to migrate Band B, Band C to Band A.
For more perspective on the briefing, TVC News State House correspondent Femi Akonde joins me on the news. Femi, thank you for joining us at this time. The 300% hike in electricity tariff for Band A customers has actually raised a lot of questions among electricity consumers in Nigeria. Help us better understand government's position on this matter.
Hi, Ambassador. Good evening. Well, government's position is that there is need to begin to put in more investment in the power sector because the government has heavily subsidized the cost of power for consumers over the years. The government spends about 2.9 trillion naira in subsidizing power, and that's about 10% of the country's national budget, annual national budget. What the federal government is saying is that this is no longer sustainable. That is why they have now decided to take off that subsidy from the Band A subscribers or the Band A people, consumers within that Band A plan of the power chain. But you know, that Band A plan, the government is saying that these are the people they know they have identified as the rich, the wealthy, who live in the highbrow areas of big cities, of capital cities in the country. People who can afford it are those who will have to pay more for power at this point in time. And they have, clearly spelled it out. People in the Band A are people who will now be entitled to about 20 hours power supply per day. Band B will also be entitled to a stipulated hour of power supply, same with Band C, D, and E, likewise down the line. And what this has also done is that it has empowered the consumers, because everyone will now be on their toes, and also ensure that the distribution companies are kept on their toes to monitor how many hour power supply they get, and if they do not get enough as stipulated by the band in which they fall in, they will then approach the National Electricity Regulatory Commission, who will now take up these complaints and investigate and sanction airing distribution complaints. Currently now, just today it was announced that the Abuja electricity distribution company has been fined 200 million naira for some infractions because of this new policy put in place. We understand that the whole banned categorization of the consumers, they did not follow it to the latter, so they would have to pay that fine. This press conference, today, a lot of people say it's coming rather late, but like they say, better late than never, because it explained everything clearly to consumers, to Nigerians, to know the reasons behind this hike in electricity tariff, the people affected, to also make people understand that it's not across board, because the complaint and the conversation out there is that, electricity tariff has been increased, not particularly stating that it's going to just affect about 15% of electricity consumers, while the federal government will continue to subsidize for 85% of electricity consumers. So this press conference has been able to put the facts bare, lay the facts bare, and for Nigerians to understand. The Minister of Power is begging for better understanding on the part of Nigerians. But Nigerians, what they are asking for also is improved service delivery, adequate power supply, because a lot of businesses, medium and small scale enterprise, rely on power supply. And what they are asking for is, indeed, they are ready to pay for this power if the federal government can also, through the distribution companies, guarantee sufficient and adequate power supply. Ambassador.
Definitely, Femi, because the question has been whether it's about increment or availability of power. I mean, for a number of people, they don't have any concerns or worries about paying, but they just want to be sure that power is available. And importantly also, perhaps it would make a lot of sense for people to know the bands under which they fall, because, there might be people who don't exactly live in the highbrow areas also, but who perhaps enjoy all of this. But is there a public complaint unit that would handle these complaints from electricity consumers?
That is the National Electricity Regulatory Commission. That's the responsibility that they have been saddled with. That is what they have been doing in the past, but now they will have to up their game to ensure that they are more open, they are more accessible to consumers. We have seen their handle on X, formerly Twitter, now becoming active, engaging with consumers, engaging with Nigerians, to let them know their rights, to let them know what they are entitled to let them know how many units of power they get for a certain amount of money, and how that will be consumed over time, to let them monitor also their consumption, and also advise them in terms of energy consumption to also learn to save and conserve energy. We had the Minister of Power talk about energy conservation, and how a lot of Nigerians just waste energy because they really do not pay much for it, or they do not also know how these whole how the payment is being calculated, and how it's been deducted from the units they put into their prepaid meter. So all of this education and enlightenment will continue over the period in the coming days, for Nigerians to begin to understand all of this, and for consumers to be empowered. Ambassador.
Femi Akonde, our State House correspondent, thank you very much for this update.
Thanks.